slope relate to the equation for a proportional relationship? Think about this question during the lesson. The students in Winona's class are building a fence around the class garden. How can they use the pricing for different lengths of fencing to determine the cost for 70 feet of fencing? Write the length and cost as ordered pairs. Graph the ordered pairs and connect the points. Now, find the rise and run using any two ordered pairs. We'll use the points 1575 and 24,120. The rise is 45 and the run is 9. Now, find the rise and run for points 24, 120, and 50, 250. The rise is 130 and the run is 26. The graph of a proportional relationship includes the point 0, 0. The slope at any point on the line is the quantity y minus 0 divided by the quantity x minus 0, or y divided by x equals m. Is this a proportional relationship? How do you know? Yes, the graph of this equation is a line that passes through the origin. The equation that relates these two variables is of the form y is equal to kx. Drawing lines to find the rise and the run creates a right triangle. Next, analyze the two right triangles by finding the ratios of rise to run for each triangle. We'll start with the large triangle. The rise to run ratio is 130 to 26, which reduces to 5 to 1. The rise to run ratio for the small triangle is 45 to 9, which also reduces to 5 to 1. Notice that the ratios of the rise to run are equivalent, so the slope of the line is constant. For any ordered pair, x, y on the line, the slope m is constant. That is, y divided by x is equal to m, or y is equal to m times x. For this line, the slope m is equal to 5. Winona and her classmates can use the equation y is equal to 5 times x to find the cost. Y is equal to 5 times 70, which is equal to 350. So 70 feet of fencing will cost $350.
Write an equation to describe the relationship shown in the graph.
So we have our rise over 1 equals, and then we use that equation that we learned in the previous lesson, y2 minus y1 is equal to x2 minus x3. So they already kind of pre-filled in the numbers. So let's find the points that they are using here. So let me use green. All right, so 80, and just let me write this on the side just so we're all on the same page. That's supposed to be a 1, I'm so sorry. 1, again, and then x2 minus x1. Okay, so the 80 represents our second y value. So y is here, so that's that point. And then what's our x? Our x would be 4. So there's 4. And then we need to choose another point. And if you look here, the x, wait a minute. I'm sorry. This is not right. My apologies. Okay, let me write this on the side to keep myself together. So we have 80 as our y2. That is correct. And then we have 3 as our x1. So these are the two values we do know. So if we look here at 80, right, that is our y value for this point, and our x value is 4. So that's going to go here. And then the 3 represents the x value of the first point, and then our y will be represented by 60. Okay, and let me put a point there. All right, so we have our 2 points. Now I can take our points, and again, this is x1, y1, x2, y2. So y2 is already there, y1 is 60, and x1 is there, x2 is 4. So when I subtract, that'll be 20, that'll be 1. So y is equal to 20x. And that is our slope. And again, 20 over 1, that's a whole number because any fraction over 1 is the whole number.
A drone descends into a mining cave. The graph relates its distance below ground to time. Write an equation that describes the relationship.
So we have our graph here that shows the descent of this drone. Again, step 1, finding the slope of the line. They give us our equation. Then they utilize the equation by substituting them with the coordinates from points on this line. And as you notice, these points are negative because we have negative values for our y. So that's why you see negatives in the equation. So our slope here is negative 250 as the drone is descending, which means going down. So it's going down at 250 meters per second. So we have step 2, write the equation on a line. So again, the equation is y equals mx. And so you substitute your m with the negative 250, and then you keep your x. And so the equation is negative, y equals negative 250x.
A recipe for trail mix calls for 1 cup of raisins for every 2 cups of granola. Write an equation that describes the relationship between raisins and granola. Graph the line.
So we have the line graphed here. We have our equation, which is y equals mx. They did the rise over run. So our rise is up 1 over 2, which is the run. So that is our slope. Step 2 is graphing the line by plotting 0, 0 first, and then drawing a line to run through that slope. And so now it says write the equation of the line. So the equation that they're looking for us to create is y equals mx. And so first we look to find our slope. So you would choose a point on the line, and I'm just going to choose this one. And then I'm going to choose, and remember it could be any 2 points on the line. So I will choose this one as well. So I have my 2 points. And now I'm going to use the equation to find my slope, y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. So my coordinates for this 2 points, let me write them down here. This one would be 5 and 2. And the next point would be 10 and 4. So those are my 2 points. Again, you choose any 2 points. So if you chose for yourself a different set of 2 lines, you should still come out to the same slope. So my y2 is 4. My y1 is 2. My x2 is 10. My x1 is 5. So now I subtract, and then that equals 2 over 5. And so my equation would be y is equal to 2/5. Oh, that doesn't look like an x. We'll go plus x. So that is how you would find your equation of this line. Part B is to graph the line. So we're going to use this. Sometimes these are not the best. Okay, let's see if I can use this. All right, so we're going to graph the line y equals 3x. So, learn how to move this thing. Turn this around. All right, so our slope is -3, which means that our y value is a 3 and our x value was a 1. So if let's see if I can do this where it's, always remember also that your slope your line has to run through 0. So that always has to be the case with any line. And so I got it through 0, but now I want to show my -3. So -3 would be down here. So my y value is -3. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. Wait, let me make sure. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So this point here would be my -3, and my x value would be a +1. So I would move this over to the 1 because this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this would be the 1. So if this point is in the right place, I'm going to shift this where it goes through 0. And this should be what your line should look like. So if you were doing it on paper, which you should be, you would obviously graph in the same spot, put a point there, and then when you're drawing your line, just make sure your line goes through your point and the 0, the origin of the graph.